If you're watching this right now, don't scroll. Because what happened in that restaurant changed 3 lives forever. And if you've ever felt broke, hopeless, or judged by the world, this story is going to hit you straight in the heart. So before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and stay to the end. Because the ending is the kind of twist real life rarely gives. But when it does, it changes everything. Michael sat at the small wooden table, his fingers trembling as he smoothed out a wrinkled $5 bill. Then another, then another. He counted them again, praying the total would somehow have changed. 45, 48, $50. That was all he had for tonight. That he breathed in slowly, trying not to panic. It wasn't just a date. This was the first time in 3 years he had allowed himself to try again. 3 years since his wife passed. 3 years raising little Noah on his own. 3 years of working 2 jobs, never quite catching up. But tonight, he just wanted to feel human again. He'd met Sarah on a dating app, and she seemed nice, kind, even. But she'd chosen this restaurant, one far fancier than anywhere Michael had ever taken himself. And as he looked around at the chandeliers, the polished wine glasses, the waiters that whispered instead of speaking, his chest tightened. "What am I doing here?" He muttered under his breath. The next table sat a woman in her early 30s, wearing a sleek navy suit and tapping thoughtfully on her tablet. Her name was Emily Carter, though Michael didn't know that. Nor did he know she was one of the youngest self-made CEOs in the state. To him, she was just another person he hoped wouldn't notice the trembling single dad trying to fold a $50 bill into confidence. But she noticed everything. The nervous glances, the fingers rubbing anxiously against his jeans, the way he stared at the menu like it was written in a foreign language. Emily had been watching people for years, partners, clients, employees. She could read their fears like open books. And this man was drowning silently. Michael's date, Sarah, arrived 10 minutes late. She barely sat down before wrinkling her nose. "This place is smaller than I expected," she said, even though the place was anything but. Michael swallowed. "I've heard the food is good." She flipped her hair, glanced at her phone, and didn't bother hiding her disappointment when she saw the cheap watch on his wrist, the worn edges of his shoes, the shy way he kept folding his napkin. "So what do you do?" she asked. I work at a hardware store in the mornings," he said honestly. "And I deliver groceries at night." "Oh," she said, in a tone that felt like a slap. Emily's jaw tightened as she listened. She knew that tone. She'd heard it directed at her once, before the world learned her name, before they respected her money more than her effort. When the waiter came, Michael panicked internally. Everything looked expensive. He calculated every option in his head, picking the cheapest dish that wouldn't make him look desperate. "I'll have the soup," he said with a polite smile. Sarah ordered the most expensive pasta without hesitation. Emily exhaled sharply. She hated everything about the situation, especially how small the man seemed trying to hide his struggle. Halfway through the meal, Sarah excused herself to take a call. When she returned, she wore an apologetic, but cold expression. "I'm sorry, Michael. I don't think this is going to work," she said. "You're sweet, but we come from different worlds." Michael forced a smile. "It's okay." But it wasn't. It hurt that he tried so hard just to be enough. As she walked out, Emily saw Michael's face crumble, just for a second, before he straightened up, wiping his eyes quickly with his sleeve so nobody would notice. She noticed. The waiter hesitated before approaching. "Would you like the check, sir?" Michael nodded, reaching into his pocket with quiet humiliation. Emily stood. She walked over, stopping gently beside his table. "Excuse me?" she said softly. Michael looked up, startled. The woman standing there looked like she belonged here. Perfect posture, perfect suit, perfect everything. "I'm sorry if this sounds forward," she said, "but I saw what happened, and I want to tell you something." Michael braced himself. People didn't usually approach him unless he was in someone's way. "You handled that with dignity," she said. "Most people wouldn't." He blinked. "Thank you." She smiled slightly. "And just so you know, the soup here is the best thing on the menu. You made the right choice." A surprised laugh escaped him. His first real smile in days. Emily gestured to the empty chair across from him. May I? He hesitated, then nodded. Emily placed her tablet down. I'm Emily. Michael. They shook hands, and something warm flickered between them. Unexpected, gentle, real. So, she said, tell me about that little superhero on your phone's lock screen. Michael's face softened immediately. That's my son, Noah. Emily listened with genuine interest as Michael spoke. About fatherhood, about his struggles, about his hopes. With every word, she found herself admiring him more. He wasn't just surviving, he was fighting. Quietly, bravely, every single day. When the bill came, Michael instinctively reached for it, but Emily placed her hand on his. Let me, she said. No, really, You paid for disappointment, she said gently. Let me pay for a conversation that wasn't. He swallowed hard, emotions hitting him all at once. When they walked out of the restaurant, the night air felt lighter, warmer. Michael hadn't expected anything like this. Kindness from a stranger, much less a connection. Michael, Emily said softly that he turned. She smiled. Not the confident CEO smile she wore in meetings, but a shy, hopeful smile she hadn't used in years. Would you like to do this again? Maybe somewhere less fancy. Somewhere you're comfortable. Michael felt something bloom in his chest, something he thought had died long ago. I'd really like that, he said, and for the first time in a long time, the future didn't feel impossible. It felt like a beginning born from $50, heartbreak, and the courage of a single dad who just wanted a chance at life again. If the story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that remind us. Sometimes the smallest moments change everything.